When smartwatches first came on the scene, within like days, everyone anticipated everything they would be able to do. Replace your phone, do all the stuff, you know, and now we've had to sort of scale back. And it's funny, we went from things that kind of worked to focusing on what works really well with what we have, anticipating the future.
I'm going to laugh. I'm going to go back to, I used to work within an analyst firm. And a lot of what our work focused on was what was important to people. And no matter what platform we tested, most of it was around video, but connected DVD players, connected TVs, whatever we're looking at, three things always rang true. I want my news, I want my weather, I want my sports. That was 80% of what people wanted.
Really?
Add to that notifications of social media updates, email, the ability to just to say, okay, I have all of this information coming, but it's not going to be, don't envision this as an engagement platform. I'm going to go back to nerd out a little bit on my TV days as well, and that was, we used to study what these big TVs were. And so I talked about how long you would engage. If you have a 60-inch television, you'd watch it for an hour or two.
Right.
But you don't do that once or twice a day. With your phone, 20, 30 times a day, but 2-3 minutes at a time. It's not something that you're going to sit there. When you're here, this is a 1 or 2 second glance. This is, as Frank has said, the art of the glance here is really about saying, look, I'm able to control or able to see what's going on and have that passive monitoring. Is this the platform that we want this to be our phone? Do we want to go? I don't think that behavior is ready for people
so
yet.
You mentioned something interesting about, you know, studying what people want to do with technology. And I think we have more devices now to do more things than anyone even knows what to do with. So, you know, with the smartwatch, with the Meta M1, you know, speaking about this one, of course, and again, I'm sure you have future ideas, but what do you anticipate, not necessarily the market, but what do you guys really want to do with this watch? What do you want to use this for on a daily basis? What are like the top 5 things, other than the time, that you think that you're going to rely on the Meta for?
Well, I'm going to bring you around again to the previous discussion for a moment. You asked about designing the watch. And I was trying to relate, and I don't know how well, that it's not just about designing the watch. It's about designing the brand's proposition. And it's about the overall mood and what we're presenting. What's most important is the experience and how the brand, I think, proposes that your fashionability, your desire to wear something beautiful that adds to your life in a subtle way that doesn't make you rethink everything about your phone or how you looked at the watch. This is all really important. So for me, it's the total delivery.
Yeah, I want to back up on this word smartwatch as well, because we talk about this all the time. But what a smartwatch is to you is going to be different than what a smartwatch is to someone else. And our DNA, our corporate DNA from within Meta, we came out of the world's largest fashion watch company. And so we've always looked at the wrist as a place for a watch first. And then adding just some modern innovation that says, look, this doesn't have to be the most technologically advanced. It's not about adding more technology. It's about, as Frank has really nailed here, creating that experience that's right for the consumer, that falls within what our brand promises to do.
I think as a designer, your responsibility is to take available technology and package it in a way that people want to use. It has utility to it. I mean, you know, you're not going to be out here creating the next big piece of hardware or software. That's something that's going to happen on a much bigger scale. You're going to go ahead and curate what's available into something that most people can digest. And what I think is interesting is, you know, you take a device like this. It's got 6 buttons on it, and you know everything about the watch is going to have to be done with 6 buttons. You know, taking a normal person who's used to maybe like an iPhone or something like that, and seeing what do they do with it. How do they operate? I mean, listen, there's traditional watches, like quartz ones, that I'll use. I have no idea how to use it. I had to look at the instructions, how to use basic functions. Sure. And so having those experiences, I realized it's not about what this can do, it's about what people can figure out in about 5 minutes.
Well, people are attracted to the grand complication, right, of watches, the grand complication of movements, the story behind all of that. I've studied in great depth these kinds of desires, the difference that we were earlier talking about between, oh, the man who buys something because it does what he wants it to do, full stop, that's it, and somebody who really wants to know the story behind it. How was it made? How long was that hammered before it took that shape? How was it cooked in the oven, etc., whatever it might be. That's a real important thing. Now, a true high luxury brand would take that story many levels. I'm really excited to be a part of bringing an experience forward that has a beautiful story of functionality and wearability and style, technology, all coming together in this masstige or premium category to bring an experience to more people again. Look, I've been a part of mass market mobile phones in the hundreds of millions. I think we were making 450 million phones a year when I left my position as chief at Nokia.
Wow.
So that's a lot of product. It's a lot of product. And I know that, you know, the responsibility that goes with that.
Yeah.
And then I turn around and work with a high technology. We formed the whole luxury communications technology industry from scratch. We pioneered it. So I know what it's like to break into a new area like that. So I wanted to take the best of all of that experience and bring it into something that is, in fact, affordable, but has this desire. There's enough extra going on there that appeals. I'm curious, you know, you're a watch aficionado. I have great respect for all of the folks that buy all the watch magazines and you know, spend all the time looking at all the intricate detail. Great respect for that. And so I bring this forward with respect to watch design and this hybrid kind of thinking. And, you know, doesn't have an analog movement. There's no going on in there right now.
You know, I think the first thing that struck me was seeing it on everyone's wrist. Because I've seen pictures of the Meta Watch, and I've seen, you know, the early versions of from the brand, and as it turned to Meta. And I understood the concept of these articulating lugs here, and you call the armature, and it made a lot of sense. But what really kind of solidified it for me was just going and seeing it on a bunch of people's wrists. You got the different versions, and it's very impressive the way the system wraps. I think it's clever how this pivot point are also these pushers.
It took a lot of work to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not the movement in a traditional watch, but to make that happen.
It's comfortable. And you know, the funny thing is, this is the first you know, angular screen smartwatch I've seen that I thought to myself, you know what, that's attractive. I think that there's this big debate, round versus square, round versus square. I don't know that one's going to be the winner. I think there's going to be a world of both. But I think
it's mostly around square displays and the difficulty of round displays, which are in fact usually hexagonal. But anyway, cut the corners off.
But in a situation like this, I think you've done such a good job with what was available. And seeing the direction you've gone, I can see a lot of potential for evolution, because the thing is, when you used to make a watch, you stopped. And you can think, I could make this design for 30, 40 years, if not longer. But now, you basically have to come up with a platform that you can evolve relatively quickly.
You're a very smart man. That's exactly right. And what we talked about when I had presented this particular design was I wanted to create something with respect to icons, because you don't create an icon. People sort of make it iconic by buying it and keeping it around. But you have to strive, you have to want to aspire to create an icon. And what we wanted to do was introduce this kind of functionality with these other aspects, these other movements, in such a way that it can create a memory starting now.
I think the biggest issue when watches like this become a little bit more distributed is you're going to have traditional watch lovers forced to make a choice. And for my industry, that's the biggest issue. Because, I mean, look, I'm a technologist. I love this stuff. I've been waiting for a smartwatch to come out that I want to wear. I'm, to a degree, an early adopter in the sense that I think about stuff, but I hate stuff that doesn't work properly. I mean, I'll be interested in it, I'll want to know what it is, but I'm not going to be one of those people wearing, you know, the kind of the finicky thing. I've had experiences with Bluetooth in the past, early stuff. You know those things? It never connects to your phone. It's horrible. And so my expectations of anything that's connected, that has a power issue, is very, very high. In designing this, in the user experience, what were some of the challenges in making sure that this could connect to your phone on a consistent basis and just work well? No.
We want to just make it as simple as possible. And we're talking, going back to your point earlier, and who are we targeting? It's not really not this early adopter, the person who wants to engage and build and almost hack on this thing. That's not it. But if we're really starting to look at where does this go, It goes into the style leaders. It goes into those people who want to take control and take this out with something that looks good and gives them that access and really control over their life.